$8 for a foundation stick, or actually really any makeup product, is bananas. Hey guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we're talking foundation sticks. We are talking about all the clean foundation sticks that I have in my collection, and I want to talk you through them and all of that because I feel like foundation sticks really in the last like year and a half have had a really big boom. It feels as though there's so many coming out, people prefer them, they're easier to travel with, and all of that. So I thought it would be fun to do a video on them. So I just want to jump into this video and get started. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this foundation stick video. Foundation sticks, let's get into it. I'm excited. I'm gonna just grab and go, no particular order. Just to preface this, I have combination skin, I have an oily T-zone, and I kind of have, it's kind of normal on my cheeks unless I'm getting some eczema or hyperpigmentation, or obviously breakouts that can kind of get a little funky and dry out. Then I can get some dryness, but my eczema for the most part is under control, but I do get some dryness. So that's just the preface of my skin type. Now let's kind of jump right into the product. So I'm just gonna grab and go. I'm not gonna go in any particular order. The first one is this one. I believe it's actually the newest of all of them. Yeah, I think it's the newest. So this is from Lys Beauty. It's their foundation stick. They also have a liquid foundation. I wear the same shade in both. TN6, or is it 5? I think it's 6. TN6, and this, just like the bronzer that they have, is creamy and really easy to blend. And it has almost like a, not a cooling effect, but it doesn't feel super, I don't know how to explain it. It's creamy, but still has a touch of a cooling effect, at least to me it does. But this is the shade TN6, and I'm just gonna blend it out with my hand, just so that you can kind of see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like when it's kind of blended out. You can see that it definitely has more of a natural to maybe satin type finish. It has nice medium coverage. It's very comfortable to wear. What I will say is that occasionally, depending on my skin prep, but also the type of dryness that I have, it can cling to some of that dryness. Not all dryness, but just some of the dryness. The one that is a little bit more textured, right? Like an eczema dryness, or one that is on top of an acne mark that is from like you picking at it or something, which, don't be like me, don't do that. But you know, we're all human, so we tend to pick at acne. Sometimes, depending on my skin prep, I will notice some clinging. It's not so extreme that it bothers me, but for that more textured dryness, I do get some clinging, again, depending on how I prep my skin, because not all dryness kind of will play well with products on top unless you kind of prep your skin well, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but it can cling occasionally. But for me, for the most part, I don't really have that issue. It's just been the occasional time, but I really like it. Nice medium coverage. I like the way that it wears. I do like to set my face with this because I feel like it just extends the wear of it. Now, in terms of wear, I would say that I have other foundation sticks that wear just a little bit longer, but this, when it does start to fade, it doesn't fade in a way where it looks patchy or funky or anything like that. So I really appreciate that about this. And it's one that I feel like is really nice for a really just low-key makeup look. I just really enjoy wearing it. Again, I like to set this. I actually like to set all but 2 of the ones I'm mentioning. I prefer setting them, and I do like to wear setting spray and all of that. In general, my standard kind of prep for makeup is my face cream and all of that. Then I like to spray my face with like setting spray, let that dry, then go on top with the foundation and all the makeup, then spray my face again. And I also like to do some T-zone powdering because it can get a little greasy if I don't. But I really, really enjoy the way that this wears, and overall it is a really nice foundation. But depending on if you have dry patches or anything like that, this might not work for you, but overall a really, really nice foundation stick. And then next up we have this one from Ilia. So this is their foundation stick. I've also really liked their foundation. It is so beautiful, but this is their foundation stick. I wear the shade 20 something. 24N Cypress, and I'm just gonna put it on the back of my hand for you so you can see. So this is 24N Cypress. It's a very good shade match for me because it works really well as like the base, and then when I do the bronzer, it just looks so natural. This shade is very nice. I really enjoy it. I have tried it on camera, so if you want to see it in full action, you can go to the video with that. But this has a nice true, like this to me is a true natural finish foundation, whereas I feel like the Lys Beauty can kind of skew a little bit more satin, and the Lys Beauty one dews up more, whereas this one to me, I don't really have that issue at all. As you can see, it's just, it blends like a dream. It has a nice medium coverage, wears really comfortably, super thin feeling, like it's wild. And it does have some blurring effects, which I really like for especially like the middle of the face. It's just nice to have some extra blurring. It sets really nicely. It plays really nicely with all the makeup I've put on top of it and underneath it. I don't have any issues with pilling or anything like that. I would say that's the same with the Lys Beauty foundation stick, but I would say that the Ilia one lasts longer on the skin for me. But when, again, the Ilia one starts to fade, just like the Lys Beauty one, it doesn't look funky or messed up or anything like that. It just fades really nicely and looks super natural. This is one that I love to grab for just really quick, like throw it on the face, blend with my fingers type makeup days. This is really nice. Again, nice medium coverage. Overall, I'm actually a really big fan, and this shade match is nice. If you are my complexion or generally wear the same shades as me, the shade is really nice and I'm a really big fan of it. I would love to know down below, if you are my complexion, what shade you got in this, and if you have the shade, are you as impressed with the shade match as me? Because it's really hard to find a shade match for my skin tone in general, because I feel like I'm neutral with a touch of warm, and I can sometimes skew, just sometimes, depending on the time of year, a little bit olive. And it's just, and some stuff is just like way too dark, but like the undertone is perfect. That is a really good one. I'm a really big fan of that foundation stick, and just, it is just such an easy to blend, easy to wear product. Next up, we have a foundation stick from Thread Beauty, and this is by far the most affordable one. This is $8. $8 for a foundation stick, or actually really any makeup product, is bananas. And we love affordable makeup. We love it because makeup, it can get really expensive, and this is a nice affordable foundation stick. So this is the shade, what is it, 7? Not even close. Not even somewhat close. This is the shade 70 Tan Neutral, and this is the shade. So for me, I feel like this is a nice shade match for right now, but even going into summer, once I get more tan, it's a little bit tougher. But I have worn this actually in a recent video where I did the affordable makeup kind of price point, and it was the under 25 video, I believe, and I tried this on. So if you want to see this in action, check it out there. But this is a really nice coverage foundation. I would say that you can get some nice medium to medium plus coverage. I mean, you can add more to get even more coverage. It's really just like a buildable foundation where you can go from more light coverage to, you can get full coverage. I just don't like to over apply any makeup, but this is really nice, and it blends like a dream, and it is so thin. Where'd it go? it disappeared, but in a good way. It is just so beautiful, and it sits so beautifully on the face. I would say it has the same longevity as the Ilia foundation stick, where it does last all day, and when it does start to fade towards the end of the day when you want to take your makeup off, it isn't patching off looking funky or anything like that. It's really nice, and it's super, super creamy. I would say the creaminess is kind of on par with the Lys Beauty one, but it's slightly less satiny. It gets, I don't have to worry as much with dew with this one as I do the Lys Beauty one. Not that the Lys Beauty one kind of makes me look like a slip and slide or anything, but this one kind of holds to its more natural finish, natural satin finish, like throughout the day fully, and it doesn't really get any dewier than that. It's really nice. It's really easy to wear. They have such a good shade range. It's bananas. The Lys Beauty also has such a nice shade range. They just have so many shade options. And I love inclusive shade ranges because, like, why are we all fighting for our lives? Everyone's fighting for their lives to find a shade. Just give us more shades, please. I know that's a whole production thing and all of that, but still, give us more shades. But I'm a really big fan of this. It's super easy to wear, and it's one that it's so light. Like, the actual product is so light, you really don't feel it on the face. I would say that these two of the three that I've mentioned so far, so the Ilia and the Thread Beauty, feel the lightest on your face. However, the Lys Beauty one also feels light. Next up, we have one I've talked about a ton. Carrot Beauty Foundation Concealer Stick. I have the old packaging where they had less product, and the new packaging where it had more product, and they didn't increase the price. You love to see it. But these are the two, just so I can show the difference here. Now, actually, I think I have Buff in both of these. Oh, I do. Is that right? Yeah. But I also have a lighter shade just for under my eyes, but Buff is the true foundation shade for me. So I want to show them side by side just so you can see the old and new. So this is the new. So these are them side by side just so that you can see them. So we have the old one and the new one, and the finish of this is really, really nice, super lightweight. You get this one by far of all of them is my favorite for concealing around the face, doesn't cling to dryness at all. The other ones, minus the Lys Beauty, don't really cling to dry patches either, but this one does not cling to any dryness. I like to apply it to where I have hyperpigmentation, acne, and blend it out, and I get such beautiful coverage. I would say that the coverage is kind of just buildable to medium plus coverage. I wouldn't say I get, again, full like coverage out of it, but this has a nice natural finish to it, and it's so lightweight and so comfortable to wear. I prefer it just all over my face as opposed to under the eyes, just because I prefer a liquid concealer. However, under the eyes, it's great. I don't have to worry about my mascara running or anything like that with this foundation concealer stick, which is really nice because I do have weepy eyes. I do have allergies, so I can get some running with concealer if I don't set my under eyes. And some concealers just make my mascara run no matter if it's set or what. And this one, no matter what I've used it with, I don't have that issue, which is great. I like to wear this, again, all over the face. I've worn it. I like it as a foundation. I prefer it kind of to spot conceal, but it's great either way. And again, you can use it under your eyes. My preference is just to use a liquid concealer and use this kind of all over the face to spot conceal and all of that. But it's really nice. Again, nice natural finish, and doesn't cling to dryness, doesn't fade really throughout the day. It is really long wearing, and when it does start to fade, it doesn't fade funkily. It doesn't fade weird or anything like that, patchy. It's really, really nice, and I'm a really big fan of this. And I mean, I have the old one, the new one, and I have a lighter shade. I have multiple of these, and I can't quit her. She's just the best. Next up, the Ilia foundation stick. Now, I was so excited when they came out with this because I love their skin tint. So broke my kneecaps running to get this. And this is a really, really nice foundation stick. It is super lightweight. By the way, I didn't say the shade. I wear the shade 310. Yeah, 310, and it is a really nice shade match. The consistency kind of reminds me of the Lys Beauty one in terms of that kind of almost cooling effect to it, which is really nice. And it kind of, to me, wears similarly to the Lys Beauty one. However, it doesn't cling to dryness for me. Like, on any of the dryness I've had, it hasn't clinged to it, which is really nice. Now, this is the shade 310. This has a nice natural finish to it, and it is, out of all of the foundations I'm talking about today, the most lightweight feeling, in my opinion. It is really, really nice. Look at that finish. It's just so nice. So I would say that this has slightly less satinness and is more of a true natural finish than the Lys Beauty, but it's just so beautiful, and the coverage is really nice. So I would say that you can kind of build up to medium coverage with this one, but you can also kind of be in the more light coverage area depending on how much you apply. When I let it sit on my hyperpigmentation, and I, like, let's say I put it all over my face, then I apply a little bit more on my hyperpigmentation, let it sit for a second, then blend it out. It really does do such a good job at covering it. I think the key to covering hyperpigmentation and acne marks is just letting something sit for a while and then blending it out, and then you can get kind of the coverage that you want without having to build up a ton of product. This is really nice, super comfortable to wear, really like lightweight. I like the shade range. The undertones are really nice. And overall, I'm just such a big fan of that foundation stick. And I feel like it is super, again, lightweight, and it literally feels like nothing on the skin. So if you're someone who, I mean, honestly, all of these kind of feel like nothing on the skin because they are so easy to blend, but also they have a nice natural finish, so you're not feeling that it's super drying in the sense of something that's more matte or super, not sticky, but it has a little bit more slip, so it's more noticeable when it's more on the dewy side. It kind of they all kind of have that nice finish that really feels invisible. We're gonna try that again because I don't know what word was coming out of my mouth, but that it didn't sound right. It's invisible kind of feeling and looking on the skin, which is really nice. I'm overall a really, really big fan of this, and it's one that is, when I want coverage, like actual coverage, not kind of a light plus coverage, this is one that just does it for me. It is so nice, and it blends really, really nicely with your fingers, with a sponge, or with a brush. Really big fan. And then last but not least, we have the Westman Atelier foundation sticks. I have two shades in this. This one is Atelier X, which is my true shade for all over the face, and that is the shade there. And it's the same shade I have in their, am I kidding? Words are escaping me today, in their complexion drops. And then I also have Atelier IX, which is a little bit light for me and a little bit too neutral, I would say, for my skin tone, but I kept it because I really like it for concealing around my under eyes and stuff like that, because it wears really nicely as a concealer too when you want something real lightweight. You don't want to grab extra stuff, which is really nice. So these are the two, and the finish of this is a nice natural finish. And I will say, I feel like in terms of like the way that they feel, wear, and sit on the skin, it's the most similar to the Ilia foundation stick. And it's just overall, it's nice, kind of buildable to medium coverage. You can kind of get medium plus coverage, but in my opinion, you cannot get full coverage out of this unless you want to really, really like pack it on, which I never want to do. I just kind of want to like tone down hyperpigmentation that I have without it being too much makeup, if that makes sense. But it's super lightweight, super comfortable to wear. Again, buildable to medium coverage, medium plus coverage. If you kind of apply it, let it sit, marinate for a second, then blend it out, you can kind of get that medium plus. I would say overall, I'm just a really, really big fan of that foundation. It's been in favorites. And now that I found the one that I lost, which is the true shade, the shade X, I'm wearing it more because before it was looking a little Casper the Ghosty, depending on the time of year. Like I couldn't grab the shade IX as much, but I am a really, really big fan of the coverage, and overall, you can't go wrong. Now I want to talk about the ones that I kind of grabbed the most. I grabbed the Westman Atelier a lot, and right now I'm grabbing it a ton because I finally found the one I lost, which is the correct shade for me, Atelier X. Then the Merit Beauty, I love, this is constantly on my vanity. I use this nonstop for concealing and kind of getting rid of hyperpigmentation, and this does the best job at concealing hyperpigmentation, acne marks, all of that. And then I would say I grab the Ilia one and the Ami Collet kind of equally. And in terms of formula, I would say that these three are the most similar. So these three kind of remind me of each other, if that makes sense. They're not 100% dupes of each other, but they remind me the most of each other. And then I would say these two are the most similar in terms of the way it feels when you apply, but I would say that these all kind of are similar to me also in terms of coverage and all that jazz. And yeah, that is it. That is it for my foundation stick video. I would love to know down below, what is your foundation stick of choice? I know a lot of people love the Dior one. I've tried that one. That's a beautiful one, but I know that there's so many foundation sticks out there. They do not feel like they have to be clean to mention them on this channel, because I love to know what you guys are loving. I've also tried I feel like I've tried everything out because I need to have good comparison things. And if I'm only testing one type of makeup, I'm never gonna find the best thing. So I would love to know down below what your favorite foundation stick is. And do you like to use them? Do you prefer a liquid foundation? Let me know down below. And yeah, that's it for this video. That's it for this foundation stick video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.